You want to be the baddest motherfucker ever at what you do? You're going to be misunderstood by everybody because you're going to be so fucking obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes.
That's the truth.
It takes every second of your fucking life. Anybody say balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of fucking people. It is. But if you want to fucking go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you fucking do, you have arrived. You will never understand what is wrong with me. And that's why I'm so fucking glad you don't. Because I'm in the right fucking spot. When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive. Where people are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I don't want to talk to you, man, because you're not going to get it.
First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to you, Akim, you, Aqua, to believe in all sincerity. This is David Goggins. Okay, I believe he's ex-Navy SEAL, all right, and he's become a motivational speaker, all right, and I like this clip because, he says something at the end, all right, and excuse the beginning, his language, but he said something to the effect of, you're just not going to get it, and a lot of people think that, the Israelites are mad, for being out there on the highways and hedges, wearing garments, spending their lives, okay, in the Bible, okay, teaching the word of the Most High. They think we're crazy. They think that we're beside ourselves. But, even the Apostle Paul was told, okay, that much studying had made him mad and that he was beside himself. Okay, so, we're there. We're in the right spirit, and at times, we may not be, always in the right spirit, but, Yahweh Bashim Shai, always seems to keep us. That's something that a lot of individuals don't, have the privilege to say that Yahweh Bashim Shai has kept them. A lot of people come into this truth, they leave, they get disenchanted, all right, because you have to be 100% in. You have to truly believe that that this thing of ours is the truth, okay? And a lot of people think it's a cult. A lot of people think that we're not real Israelites because we don't speak Hebrew, okay, 100%. And we've never been to Israel, and we've never done a genealogy test. So they begin to question, okay, a lot of this truth, and really ask themselves, is it worth all this sacrifice? Is it worth all this hard work, all this discipline? And the answer is yeah, because you have to read the scriptures, and you cannot believe in a ancient document with a westernized mindset. All right. So I got a couple scriptures. Lord willing, this will be edifying. This won't be too long. Let's get this in the book of First Peter. It says, keep fervent in your love at the top. For as much then as Hamashiach has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. You see, Yahweh Shai suffered while he was on the earth. Okay, that it pleased the Most High to bruise Yahweh Shai. Okay, to bring the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, okay, back to the Most High. But as we see, Yahweh Shai went on the cross. He suffered in the flesh. Okay. Even before the cross in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was tempted. Okay. So we have to arm ourselves with the same mind. Okay. For he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin. So, through the Spirit, we're no longer living our life, okay, to live in sin. We're actually living, to suffer on behalf of the kingdom. We're living for Yahweh Shai. It says that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh, right? To the lust of men, but to the will of the Most High, right? Our priority is the will of the Most High. It's not to live, in the lusts of men. Okay, what men find esteemable in this life, we don't live to those forbidden desires and the societal norms. We're going against the grain, okay? And that's living, by the will of the Most High. For the time past of our lives may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles. We walked in lasciviousness, lusts, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. So when we were in that Gentile state of mind in our past life, okay, the life that we lived before the truth, we walked in all these things. It says, NLT, you have had enough in the past of the evil things that godless people enjoy. Their immorality and lust, their feasting and drunkenness and wild parties, and their terrible worship of idols. It says, wherein they think it's strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. And people think it's strange that you are no longer running to the same excess of madness. You're not living, above your means. Okay. You're not keeping up with the Joneses. You're not doing the same things you used to be. And they start to speak evil of you. How dare you change? How dare you, stop, wanting to wild out, and have discipline over your flesh and have a proper balance in life. And the dude spoke about balance. All right. But, he ain't in the truth. You got to have a proper balance. No, we're not saying being over righteous, but hey, dedication to the truth is very much needed. And a lot of people don't understand, like, the our plight, why are we so dedicated? Why do we believe so much in this truth? Why do we hold to the standard? To the point where they start speaking evil of you. Why aren't you doing the same thing as I am? Like, because Jake do too much. Jake live in excess, an excess of riot. And that's of a fact. Jake doing too much. Jake don't ever know how to chill. Jake don't ever know how to be spiritual, man. And that's what people don't understand is the spiritual part of this truth. A lot of guys in Israel, are just in this for the fame. They're in this for money. Or whatever they can gain through filthy lucre. This is a Revelation 12:11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. You see, and who did they overcome? They over Esau Edom in this system. Okay, because he's truly the one that pushes this ideology on Jake to be carnal, to be a brute beast, okay, to live through the flesh. You see, but the elect is going to overcome by the blood of the Lamb, meaning Yahushua actually shed his blood for the election. Okay, and it's the word of their testimony. It's them that they testify. They're witnesses of all the evil that is going on by this devil, by 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and even themselves. We're speaking the truth. Period. Even Paul in Romans the 7th chapter spoke about what wretched man I am. I mean, the elect are gonna speak the truth about the truth. All right. It says, and they love not their lives unto the death. You see, and people don't understand that. People don't understand that. They understand that you're willing to risk your life, Lord willing. Okay, to speak the truth for Yahushua and for this gospel, and that's a big investment. That's a bold statement that this is the truth. All right, because some people are losing faith in these latter days. You see, and they love not their lives unto the death. The elect is, they're not going to love their life to the point where, they're going to try to save it. If they have to lose it, that's just what they're going to do. You see? There's another one. Let's see if we can find. There's one. This is Ephesians 2:1. And you hath he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sins, you see? And that's why the elect don't love their life to the death. Okay? Because we know that the Heavenly Father hath quickened us. He hath brought us out of a deadly state. You know, we were dead in trespasses and sins. We believe that Yahweh B'Shem Ashai can cleanse us from all sin, can redeem us from even death. You see, that's how much, you know, we believe that the Lord is with us, that that nothing can touch us if we're part of that election. The Lord's going, He's going to keep us healthy. He's going to keep us, even from death. Okay. It says, where in time past he walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Okay, so Satan works in these 2/3, man. They're disobedient. Everything they do is contrary to the Heavenly Father in some way, shape, or form. You see? And that goes back to them, speaking evil of you, because you're not part of the crowd. You're not part of the group. So they look at you as an enemy. They look at you as evil. They look at you as a target. Because you're not walking according to the course of this world. Okay, that spirit only works in the spirit, in the children of disobedience. It says, among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. So we all had our behavior in the same ways that the 2/3 do. Okay, we obeyed the lust of the flesh and fulfilled the desires of our mind and of our flesh. Bugged out, just only worrying about the flesh, only worrying on working on a low vibration that is contrary to the Most High, that's contrary to the Spirit, iniquity on top of iniquity. Okay, and we're by the nature the children of wrath, even as others. Yeah, in that eye for an eye, getting your lick back spirit. It says, but the Most High was rich in mercy for his great love, wherein he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, hath quickened us together with Hamashiach. By grace ye are saved. You see, so the Lord hath mercy, man, in which he loved his elect, woke them up who were dead in sins, and hath quickened them. Is given them the Spirit, has enlightened in them. It even says here, let's see. Maybe it's the first chapter in Ephesians where it speaks about being enlightened. Right, Ephesians 1:18, the eyes of your understanding being enlightened. You see? So your understanding has been enlightened. The mind's eye, that ye may know what is the hope of his calling and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints. And see, that's top-notch knowledge. I just watched a video on Facebook saying that individuals that are more intelligent, that are smarter than others, it's actually scientifically proven that they're a threat to those who are not, causing them to be what? Intimidated, causing them to actually come for you. It sparks a fight or flight in individuals. So when they see that your understanding has been enlightened and that what is the hope of this calling, like why brothers are hoping so much that they've been called, Lord willing they've been chosen, that's going to make people act a certain type of way. It says, and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints. It's rich to rub elbows with the elect, Lord willing you're of the elect, or through the Spirit, because the scriptures say you shall know them by their fruits. You get in where you fit in. The scriptures say wisdom is justified of all her children. The people, they see that. So therefore, they're not going to understand, why are you with brothers? Why are you believing this thing? What's this cult about? Y'all calling yourselves the saints, those who can inherit glory with the Most High and his son Yahweh Shai. That's their true names. I mean, this baffles minds. And like he said, when nobody understands you, you there, and that's the truth. You know, people around you, they really don't know why you do this. They don't know why, And if they did at one point, they lost it. They don't know why, because if they did, they would join. They would be in this, so to speak. Okay, so just wanted to bring this out. Lord willing, this was a little exhortation to the body. Okay, run that video back, if you must. But again, Lord willing, you were edified.